Hello, Reverend Crystal Cox, Goddess Church, Port Townsend, Washington. We are reading the Awakener. We are on chapter 10, called Channeling, Protection, and the Universal Challenge. There were agreements made long ago that certain material would be channeled from the ascended realms of light to trigger an awakening in the star seeds and light workers on Earth. The Ascended Masters promised they would reach us using various forms of energy, including channeling. Much of this work began in the 1930s and has continued to this day. The books A Course in Miracles and then the I Am series, the green books. Yeah, I read those. I read the St. Germain one. Irrelevant? No. Okay. Contain all the necessary truths for anyone to ascend from Earth. Alright, so A Course in a Miracle and the I Am books is all you need apparently. Although many people had earlier spiritual awakenings, the main time of awakening to the realization that you are part of a great team of light here to help on Earth began as recently as 1990. There was a major triggering in October of that year. Yeah. Me turning 20. Yeah. And the harmonic convergence was in, 1987. It was continued intently since that time, and now the majority of the light force on Earth are awakened. A great deal of cleansing of the fixed patterns and rigid beliefs that light workers have adopted since incarnating here has taken place over the last few years. Many light workers have reached the stage where they are now taking up all their tasks and agreements. This may be just one or a series of quite different tasks. The main focus of most tasks now moves from inner cleansing of self to concentrating on assisting those of humanity who need to gain a new spiritual awareness and reconnection to God. Some light workers' tasks involve agreements made long ago to act as channels or receivers for this awakening material. In addition to those with original agreements, others are now bringing through this information. Naturally, because of Earth's conditions of duality, whilst there is a great deal of beautiful and loving channeled material, there is also misinformation being channeled. You always have to discern, and information that might be for the guy next to you is not for you. We're all on a different frequency, we all tune into different informations, and so trust yourself. And no channeler, everything is right. I mean, they go into their own life experience. They have their own perspective. They're from their own starseed. You have to discern. And I read Bringers of the Dawn pretty much right after it came out, Barbara Marciniak. And it's funny because it kind of changed over the years, and I was like, what? And then when I realized what people call the Mandela effect, the timeline shift, that's one of the books that's so amazing to me because it changes in each timeline. And it's channeled information from the Pleiadians. And so I just think that's so neat. Okay, if you concede that there are two energies at work, then you realize that two energies would be channeling information. Sometimes negative energy is not obvious or clearly visible. Your lesson in wisdom is the discernment between those different energies. It is the evolutionary level of the source of the information that reflects the level and purity of the truth being relayed. The higher the evolution, the wider the overall picture that is seen and the purer the truth. There are 13 dimensions in this earth. Scratch that. There are 13 dimensions in this universe, the 13th being a state of formation and many levels within each dimension. To grasp this concept, one could visualize the universe as a large square with a dense, slower moving energy at the base, gradually getting finer as you proceed upward to pure light at the top. You could imagine beings located in any position with this square. The lower bands would represent the third and fourth dimension, which contains the astral plane, and the top bands would be the 12th and the new 13th dimension. As you would imagine, it is more difficult to see through heavy, dense energy. The lighter and finer the energy, the easier and further one could see. As you become wiser and more into finer levels of light, Your vibration allows you to see into higher dimensions. In truth, all dimensions exist in the same space simultaneously. You can liken this to a radio. You know, the radio tuner can tune into like 104 or can tune into 107. Say one's country, one's rock. You can't hear one unless you're tuned into it. You are the receiver that broadcasts a certain frequency that tunes into different versions of reality and different versions of events, just like a radio, even though they're in the same spot. A lot of channeled information is received from beings in the astral plane and fourth dimension. The ascended masters and cosmic beings of light we normally reach are located in the 7th, 8th, and 9th dimensional planes. For greater ease of communication, the ascended realms may use the 5th dimension as a bridge position between themselves and the 3rd dimension. They would, however, when challenged, state their position or level as being the dimension they are truly from, which would be the 7th, 8th, or 9th. It is therefore always advisable to establish the level of the being from whom one is receiving a communication. Channeled material can also be greatly altered as it passes through the belief patterns, considerations, opinions, and ideas of the person receiving the material. If the channel can really let go and just allow the communication to come through, a fair degree of purity is possible. In the majority of cases, the person acting as a channel would be unaware that they have filtered it through their own patterns and may have altered it. Most would deny empathetically that it is anything other than exactly as delivered. It is certainly not their conscious intention to change it. It can occur in such a subtle way that it is not perceived by the channel. It is possible to check your own channeling by asking for the percentage of accuracy you are delivering. I see. To get an accurate answer, you would first need to release any fixed belief. And that takes approximately 100 years. Just kidding. You may have that you are delivering a perfect duplication. Also be willing to release any need to have a reply that is being perfectly received. Honesty with yourself is required. If you did establish that some alteration was taking place, you would be able to fix it by letting go a little more to the divine will. This would then establish a clear line to the source, helping yourself and anyone else to whom you are passing the information. Okay, that was page 100 to page 102. Goddess bless you. Please consider donating to our church at bbgoddesschurch@gmail.com, PayPal. Goddess bless. Have a great day. I love you.